Okay. Wait, so how many relationships did you have in general?
Relationships?
Yeah.
Not many. Like one, two, three, four.
So around like 4 or 5, around there? Okay.
Yeah.
So then, like, from each relationship, do you think what is like the biggest thing you've learned and gained from each of those relationships? Because you know how like you start to change, like you figure out what, like you learn a lot while you're in a relationship with other people.
Yeah.
So like, is there main takeaway points from each relationship that you've been in that you think either you make like a change better for yourself?
A change better for myself?
Yeah. Cause like if when I was in a relationship, I gained obviously patience
Mm-hmm.
or what I don't like in a specific person.
Yeah, see, back to another video, like you only find out what you don't like if you dated enough people. Or like if you tried enough of a thing to figure out what you
Right.
don't like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like exactly. So going back to that, but within a relationship's perspective, like what from your own relationships, what did you gain from each one and learn?
In general, I think that I don't want to say specific things that I learned. I think the most important thing in relationship is knowing what you're in for.
Knowing what you're in for. What do you mean by that?
Knowing that your intentions, knowing the intentions you go in with this relationship, what you want out of this relationship, knowing what you want, and also knowing how that person is
How would you know how that person is though, going into the
by going on dates, right?
Well,
Because
okay.
you people could be just dating or talking. You don't like when I say relationships that we're like oh boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, so like those
Okay.
are
But you're saying so you went into each relationship knowing what you're getting yourself into then? Because honestly, their true colors don't shine until you get more into the relationship.
yeah. If you're younger, it's harder to tell because everybody still try to figure out who they are. They don't even know. They're just having a good time, you know. But I think for people over like 25 or whatever, they know a little better or I mean people evolve in a different way, but I feel like the older you get, the more you know who you are and you're more intuitive in how other people is. So if you go on a date once, twice, three times, you spend what, like 3, 6, 9 hours together, you could get a sense of like, because you could lie about something, but then it's hard to lie when you are having extensive, deeper conversations all the time. You will see their flaws, even though you don't know exactly what they lie about. Your gut is telling you like, oh, he's not all truthful, like, or this person not. You could feel that, oh, this person is kind of like by small things. You're like, well, he exaggerated there, obviously, or like, oh, that's bullshit. So you'll pick up on those small things that you don't call them out on because you want to be polite, or if you do call them out on, depending on how you are, but you will pick up on those things and you're like, okay, this is the type of person that, you know.
Okay, but then so what about relationships that people's been in for like years and years and then they end up breaking up?
Yeah, and that's because that's people don't know who they are and they didn't have the intention of what am I getting in for. And also the another thing is that people evolve. That's why more than half of the marriage end up in divorce because people evolve. And the thing is like when they get into it, they're not 100% truthful with themselves and another person is not asking them to be, like because they're not truthful, but the other person is not pressing them like, no, tell me the truth. They just go, oh no, it's your space, it's your privacy, and then you just give them the respect of like, oh, it's your privacy, and then fucking 7 years later, you're like, what? You're like $50,000 in debt, and you want to marry me now? Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. It's like, no, you should talk about those things if you're taking a relationship seriously. Obviously, timing is everything. You don't ask somebody, hey, how much money do you have? Let me see your bank account your first date. That's weird. Yeah. But as the relationship progresses, I feel like the more you show other people's like who you are and what you're about, the easier the relationship will be. Because if somebody shows you who they are and you're like, You could either go, oh, I could work with those things. I don't like it, but I appreciate other aspects of this person's values and what he's about. But then I don't like these small things that he does, but I could accept it and work with him. Maybe he could change that as well. But if somebody shows you something and their values are completely different than yours, then great, because then now you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't align with who I want to be with for a long time to be my partner in life. Because when shit goes south, then I can't trust this person to be on the same path as I am. So then I'm not going to be with this person. Then amazing. Then you just had a great time, maybe had to have some food, and then now you go your separate ways.
So then what's your
That's the takeaway. That's the takeaway for like all the relationships, is like knowing if you're like just in it to have sex,
Right.
or if you're in it to actually build a relationship, a long-term relationship, or you just wanted to be friends. I think.
But what if you were in it for the long term?
Uh-huh.
But then what? So is it just because people grow out, or?
What do you mean?
Well, my main question in general was just to know what you gained from each relationship, because every
That's what I gained, because I didn't know, like in the beginning, like my first, yeah, that I gained that I would know what I want. The only, like, I would know if I have a new relationship, I know what I want out of it. So then I will go, okay, these are my values. This is what I want from my partner. If it doesn't line up with me physically, emotionally, and their values and their family, if it doesn't line up, then I'm not gonna, obviously I'm not like, oh, it all has to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. But my core values have to line up, and our communication has to line up, and you have to be able to, some people are not great at communicating, but then you're like, okay, I could work with that because I could see that they're a good person. Whatever it is that whatever your values are, and everybody has different values, but if you figure that out and you meet somebody and you said, hey, I could work with what you got, even though you're not, then if you know that, at least you're like, okay, well, this is what I want. But when you're younger, you just go, oh, I'm trying to fuck. It doesn't matter how they are, but so you lie around that. You're like, oh yeah, fuck your mom. Like, yeah, family's not important. Yeah, and then they'll spend money buying the women things, and without really knowing their love language, like what they appreciate. Maybe they don't care about material things. Maybe they just care about you spending time, but you don't know that, so you didn't ask. So then you don't know what you want. So then if you don't know what you want, you go in a relationship, and then you're just like, oh, I guess I like him. Why? Because he looks good and has a big dick. I'm like, because they have a big dick. and then you find out, like, they're $50,000 in debt or whatever the thing is. But I think so communication is key, I think, and being open. Yeah, but not if you're trying to fuck. Because if you're like, hey, I go into the relationship, I'm just trying to fuck, that vibe, and if they give you that vibe too, then great. Then you guys just trying to fuck.
Right.
Yeah, but if you go in a relationship and you're like, hey, we both want a relationship, let's figure it out, then it's easy. Because you're just trying to figure out if we like each other, and I'm just trying to figure out if we like each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Right. So everything's just an experience in general, right?
Well, maybe I still don't get your question. What's your question? Did I not answer your question?
Well, I wanted to know like specific things that
What?
actually that you learned or gained from a relationship. Because like from my first relationship to my second relationship, I gained different things. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously I didn't want someone that was boring or just book smart, I wanted someone that was more street smart, had awareness around, like wasn't just narrow-minded,
So you want to know my personal experience?
Yeah.
Not a general thing?
No. But you're
Then you have to say that, bitch.
Bitch, I asked you what was
Don't call me a bitch.
I asked your specific.
Then say that. Be like
did.
specifically.
No, I said you. And you went into
No, you said what did you learn?
What did you learn?
Yeah, what did I learn? But you didn't say specifically in your relationships, what did you learn?
I think I asked you how many people.
But that's what I learned in general.
I know in general, but I was asking you from each person. You don't listen.
Yeah, but I took your question as like from each person, what did you gather was the most important thing?
Okay.
I didn't know you wanted.
About specific person to person to person.
Yeah, then you have to say that. Because if you say a thing, then people can misinterpret it. So this is a trait that I would not like in my partners. That they say a general thing and expect you to answer what they want specifically. That's not possible, everybody.
See, this is
That's
what
not
I
possible.
Don't like in a partner is someone that doesn't listen.
This is another thing what I don't like a partner. Is that they repeat the thing that you say the first time, try to use it against you. Very unoriginal. I appreciate originality.
Shut up. Okay. Go on with your specific
Yes.
from each person you dated
Uh-huh.
that you gained or learned.
Okay. Specific examples?
Specific example.
That's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say.
Kill me now.
Okay. For my first girlfriend, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was Japanese. She was amazing. She was 2 years older than me. I think she was 16 or 17, and I was like 15.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was it was 8th grade or 9th grade summer.
And she went for you?
Huh? Excuse me? And I was first physically attracted to her, and then I liked the fact that she's caring and she was fun and she very attentive. But I realized after that the biggest thing is that I don't like somebody who's too clingy, because she's and always available. Because I remember she was so perfect and so good. I'm just like, why do I not like her anymore? Because I really liked her. We went to fucking Universal at Disneyland together. And we spent a whole day. It was great. We had a great time. We were like doing all the cutesy shits. And then like couple days later after that, like maybe 3-4 days later, we were like, me and my friends and her, we were sitting in a circle. And like I wasn't giving her attention, and I didn't know really how to communicate then either. And she was like trying to play with me. She like came over and threw grass at me, and I was just like,
Okay.
and then I was like, maybe that's rude, but I'm like, I don't give a fuck, it's fine. And like, this is so mean and so rude of me. This happened. She was crying because we were playing basketball, me and my friends, and she was on the bleachers crying because she was also playing basketball. We were just all doing the activities. We were just in the park or whatever, and she was like on the bleachers, and she was just crying. And then they're like, "Dude, what's going on?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know." and then they're like, "Dude, go see if she's okay." I was like, "Nah, it's fine, it's okay." And then I remember I was like, "Hey, stop crying!"
Oh my god.
It's so bad.
You really said that?
I did say that.
Oh my god.
I don't want her to cry.
So you
It's
told
ruining my game. We were trying to play a basketball game, and they're like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm like, "Bro, let's just play the game."
So,
I was the worst guy. But I was 15 also. I don't know what I was doing.
That's true. That's true.
And I didn't want her to cry. It was making me sad. I was like, "Dude, you're making everybody sad." It was really bad.
Yeah.
I'm sad right now. You're making me sad.
So stop crying.
Stop crying. God damn. Do you see everybody now is standing around? What's wrong with you? Okay. Anyways, that's really bad. But so I learned that I didn't like that. And I wasn't good at communicating. I was a piece of shit 15-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
And after that, I dated a Filipino girl. And we were together maybe like 8 months or something. Mm-hmm. And I learned that I cannot be with a slut. Dude, she was hot. Okay. She was hot. She was in cheer. You know what I mean? She was there's a difference. She was a flyer. That's something. Because you can't be fat and be a flyer. You can't fly if you're a cow.
You're such a dick.
What's the problem? Cows don't fly. Okay?
Okay.
Why is that bad? I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with cows. Okay. I'm just saying cows don't fly. All right. And I like flyers.
Anyways.
It's that bad. It's just, everybody has different preference, and that's my preference. Everybody has a preference. You have your preference, and what about the fucking, do you know what I mean?
Alright.
Okay.
What did you learn?
I learned that I can't be with this love because she was hot and she was very fun and she was sexual, which is all nice, and she wasn't clingy, so I like that. Which I did, but she was too far, not too far on the other end, but she was more in the other end where she just like too much of a social butterfly.
Right.
She's always wearing skirts that's above her pussy, like not even above the knee. Like I'm like, bro, can you cover your pussy? So I did learn that. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot physically, but I can't just be with somebody that is like out here flirting with all the guys. I just can't. And also we were young, so maybe, but she just has that like flirtiness. And it's okay if you have the flirting, but not with like not always. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I learned, well, this is the thing, I learned that I like chase. I like to chase. I don't like clinging. I learned that with her too. And I learned that I like spontaneity. Spontaneity. Yeah. She's really spontaneous.
Okay.
So she would like do stuff like oh, let's go here today, and then we'll just go. And I like that she is comfortable with herself. I like when women are really comfortable with herself. I love that because they know who they are. Like she doesn't question too much. She just go, yeah, I like this. I'm gonna go do this. I like, you sucking my titties in the movie theater. I sucked my first titty with her in the movie theaters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so that was cool. So my third one, I think what I don't like, what I do like, I like that. What I learned. Oh, I learned that I learned that I appreciate connections more than. No, no, it's not that I appreciate connection. I need somebody that is okay with long distance. Because if we weren't long distance until I had to move, then we were long distance. But I didn't know if she was, because being able to do long distance, it says something about your personality. It says that, it doesn't matter if times are rough, I'm still willing to work it out with you. Like that's a thing. Yeah. Right? And when you say, hey, I can't do long distance, that mostly means that either I don't like you, I don't know you enough to like you that much, or I do like you so much, but you're not here to fuck me, and I need somebody to fuck me. Mm-hmm. And either of those, and if either of those things, if you don't have that, that's what long distance is. If you like me enough, if you know me enough to like me that much, then we will find a way to communicate, even though we can't fuck. Do you know what I mean? But if you do like me that much, but your sexual drive is that high, I can't keep up with you anyways. I'm not trying to fuck 5 times a day. Mm-hmm. I got shit to do.
But what if it's trust too?
What?
Trust.
What does that mean?
Because,
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you like me and know me enough to trust me, then you should trust me. Okay. And there's a communication, a clear communication. Yeah, so then those are the only two things that if you know me enough, mm-hmm. all aspects, either like how loyal I am, all of those things. Yeah, so that's what I learned, that I need someone that can do long distance relationship. It doesn't even matter if we do it or not. Right. That because it's like, what if there's a small chance that there's a draft for war or whatever, and you just gonna go out and fuck my best friend now because I'm not there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I learned.
That was from your
Yeah, my third one. My fourth one, which is, I learned that she's a bitch.
What?
Which is my wife now. I'm just kidding. I learned so much from my wife, man. It's just a continuous learning is the thing. I think the most things I learned from my wife now is that you can only do your best. If you do your best, there's nothing else you could do. And she showed me that with how she loves me. She just does her best and always put in effort and be the best that she can, and then that's it. She doesn't care about when we were younger, yeah, like she would, trust and all that shit. That's the thing, but I think at one point you're just like, well, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter what she does or what I do. If I want to leave or she wants to leave, I can't do anything about it. But you want to know that you did your best, because if you do your best, if that other person still don't like you, you know that you did your best. Because if the other person leave, you didn't do your best, and you're like, oh fuck, why did you leave me? It's like, dude, you didn't do your best and you didn't care enough, or whatever it is. You were a piece of shit. You took advantage, you know. So I think she showed me that. She taught me that, and that's important in a relationship too. You just always do your best if you like the other person enough. Yeah. So 4 very specific and important things.
Thank you. That was perfect.
Okay, bye.